And hello my union, the gaming union here. Welcome back to another video. This is Bukkit plugin tutorials. I'm going to be teaching you guys how to set up your own little thing. So for purposes, I'm going to be deleting all of that entire project there, because I'm going to teach you guys how to do it. I was just making sure I knew how to remember how to do it. Name your project what you want your plugin to be named. So in this case, I'm going to call it setting up. I'm going to click finish. There you go. You have all this stuff, and I mean, this isn't going to work with Bukkit without actually doing anything. So right click on setting up, go to properties, click on Java build path, do add external jars, click bukkit.jar. Navigate to your bukkit.jar. I just kind of have it already here, which is pretty convenient. So do that. And it doesn't look like it was actually added. Let me try that again. Sorry. There we go. Now that it's added, I think I accidentally clicked twice, and the second time I clicked cancel. Anyway, so now you should see bukkit.jar right here. Second thing you want to do, make your own package. Name it your website, but backwards. So in my case, com.unon1100.settingup. Alright? So name it after your website, backwards. So if your website ends with com, put com at the end. If you're, so, because mine ends with .com. Alright, it's unon100, so you get unon1100 right here, .com, and then at the end of it, put a dot, and then setting up, or something like that. If you don't have a website, use something like your email, something like that. So in the case that you want to do an email, you would do com.gmail. And then your email name, in my case, unon100. But I don't need to do that, so unon1100 dot setting up. Alright, there you go. Next, new Java class. Name this after your package. It just makes things easier. Alright, so now that we have all that done, we're going to make something called a plugin.yml. So go to new, file, name it plugin.yml. Don't do it in a text editor. Go to open with and go to text editor. Don't do it in like a external text editor. It makes things really hard, and you need to refresh your package explorer or whatever. But if you just do it within Eclipse, everything will be much easier. So there are three things that you'll need. Name. You'll name this after your plugin. In my case, I'm going to call it setting up. Next thing, you're going to have a tag called main. Alright, in my case, you're going to have it lead. So first of all, type in your package. And then put another dot. And then you're going to have settingup.java. Or setting up, sorry. So this should lead to your this should lead to your Java file. So how it works when you compile this is it puts it into a folder. That folder is named after your package and then your file name. So the folder will be called com, and they'll make a folder within that called unon100, and then another folder within that called setting up, and then within the setting up folder you'll have settingup.java. So you want to do com.unon100.settingup. Alright, that'll bring you to the folder, and then that should be the main class. Anyway, let's get out of that. Version, make this whatever you want it to be. In my case, 1.1.7.2.00. You can make this really whatever you want, but it's much easier just to make it something like this. Save, close. You're done with that. Here you're going to extend Java plugin. So extends Java plugin. Alright. And come on. And there we go. Import Java plugin. Now you're going to do @override public void on enable. You're going to want to make another one at override public void on disable. There you go. Now here you're going to use lxDAGGERxl dot info. And inside of that we'll put in you set this up correctly. And then on disable, you're going to be like, yay, disabled successfully. Now that you have that, you should be good to go. Control S, go to setting up, right click, export. From here, click on jar file, not runnable. You do not want a runnable jar file, just do a normal jar file. Click next. Uncheck these two things, they're really not important. Make sure that plugin.yml is checked though. Here, this is just where you export it to. In my case, I'm putting it into a nice little Bukkit plugins thing that I have. By the way, export it straight into your server. So if you already have a server on your computer, export it to the plugins. If you don't have a Bukkit server on your computer, make one. You don't need to have other people invited to it. You don't need to port forward it. Although if you do port forward it, then you can let other people join it. But if you don't port forward it, you can still join it. But yeah, so plugins right here, and then setting up .jar. Finish. Yep. Now that we have all of that done, we can go over to our Bukkit tutorials thing. Oh, this is the wrong Bukkit tutorials thing. This is where my files are saved. Don't quite want it there. So go to the desktop, Bukkit tutorials. Check your plugins. You should have a setting up.jar. Congrats if you do. Run.bat. It should take a second to load up the libraries. It'll do all this stuff. And guess what? You set this up correctly. Yeah! Now, if we actually stop it, or actually we'll reload it first. So if we reload, what it does is it disables, look, it disables your plugin, and then it re-enables your plugin, as you can see right there. And if you type in stop, then it just disables all the plugins. Yay, disabled successfully. And if you press a button, it closes out. Last thing that I'm going to mention in this tutorial, don't use system.out.println. It gets on my nerves. Don't. It's just bad. It's just bad. Don't use it. Alright, it doesn't include the plugin name when you're in the console. So for other people using your plugin, if you use system.out.println, they have no idea what plugin it's coming from. Use lxDAGGER. Alright, it's just better. It's amazing. Alright, use lxDAGGER.info. Don't use system.out.println. Now that we're done with that, you are done with your plugin. This is your first plugin. Subscribe for more. We'll have more complicated more complicated plugins in the future, and it'll be awesome. All right. Goodbye, my union.